What if I told you there was a player who made the impossible look ordinary? A man who didn't just score goals but redefined how we think about goals altogether. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't just the first player to score 100 Champions League goals. He's the player who turned Europe's toughest competition into his personal playground. But how? How does one man dominate at the very highest level of football against the best defenders in the world, year after year? Today, we break down the secrets, the evolution, and the relentless obsession that allowed Ronaldo to hit a century in Europe's elite competition. The Champions League challenge, the Champions League, the stage every footballer dreams of. It isn't just a competition, it's the highest battlefield in club football. Here, the defenders are the best in the world. The tactics, ruthless. The pressure, suffocating. This is where legends are made and where careers are broken. For most strikers, scoring 10 Champions League goals is enough to retire proud. For true legends, 30 or 40 across a career. But Cristiano Ronaldo? He tore the script apart. 100 goals. A number so ridiculous it almost feels like fiction. Because these weren't easy tap-ins or charity penalties. Number. He scored them every way you could imagine. Bullet headers that defied gravity, left-foot rockets from outside the box, cold-blooded penalties when the world was watching, counter-attacks where he outran entire defences, and volleys that looked like they were scripted in a video game. It wasn't just scoring, it was domination, it was mastery. Ronaldo didn't just survive in the Champions League, he owned it. And that's why this milestone is more than just a number. It's proof of a career that bent football's limits. Phase 1. The Manchester United years, 2003 to 2009. He arrived in England as a wiry teenager with a bag full of stepovers and a point to prove. Not a finisher, not yet a phenomenon. A raw wing wizard learning how to survive in the most unforgiving league on earth. The raw material, 2003 to 2006. Early Ronaldo was chaos and electricity. Elasticos on the touchline, scissors in transition, shoulder drops that left fullbacks dizzy. But the end product, inconsistent. He'd beat 3 men, then overhit the cross, dance past a marker, then shoot from the wrong angle. In Europe, the numbers were harsh. He went years without a Champions League goal, a constant reminder that flair without finish doesn't win on Tuesday nights. What kept him moving forward was an obsession with turning flash into function, speed into timing, talent into output. The Ferguson effect. Sir Alex didn't try to suppress the flair, he weaponized it. United drilled transitions until they were muscle memory. Win it, break in 8 seconds, finish before the defence can breathe. Ronaldo learned to attack space, not just opponents. To arrive at the back post, not just create from the wing. To choose the high-value action over the highlight. The team's identity sharpened around ruthless counter-attacks, with Ronaldo's runs and Rooney's decisions snapping like a whip on the break. The hinge moment Europe wakes up, 2006 to 07. Then came Old Trafford, April 2007. Quarterfinals, Roma. United hit 7. Ronaldo scored twice, his first Champions League goals, and the story flipped. The drought ended with a brace in a demolition that announced a new version of him, more direct, more decisive, more inevitable. Europe had been introduced to Ronaldo the goal scorer, not just Ronaldo the entertainer. From that night, every run had purpose. Every touch moved him closer to the goal. The winger who used to dance on the flank started to arrive where it hurts between centre-backs, at the far post, on the penalty spot, arriving late, unmarked, and deadly. 2007/08, turning flair into trophies. The breakthrough went supernova the next season. Ronaldo became the Champions League's top scorer and the Premier League's most terrifying closer. 42 goals in all competitions as United marched to Moscow. In the final against Chelsea, he timed the classic wide-to-box run, met a teasing cross, and rose above a back line stacked with giants to slam in the opener with a trademark hang-time header. He even survived the shootout nerves after a saved penalty. United still lifted the trophy, and Ronaldo left Moscow as the face of European nights. Wes Brown has since talked about the tiny tactical detail that created the crossing window for that header. United had engineered the moment. Notice the pattern: fewer touches, better touches. He didn't need 5 dribbles when one run would do. He learned to finish with head, left, right, from crosses, cutbacks, set pieces. He became a system of goals wrapped in a superstar's body. 2008/09, range and ruthlessness. By the following spring, his European toolkit was complete. The quarter-final at Porto produced a once-in-a-generation strike, 30-plus yards of pure violence that silenced a stadium and won the tie. Weeks later, against Arsenal at the Emirates, he hammered a long-range free kick and then finished a one-touch coast-to-coast counter that looked like it had been pre-programmed at Carrington. These were not just goals, they were thesis statements on power, technique and timing. What changed? Positioning and priorities. He slid from traditional winger into an inside forward/second striker lane. Instead of creating the final ball, he hunted the final touch. United's counter-attacks gave him runway. His leap made him a back post nightmare. His set-piece strike turned 35 yards into scoring range. The numbers at the handover. When he left for Madrid in 2009, he had transformed from showman to closer, a Champions League top scorer, a European champion, and a player who had already figured out how to make the biggest stage feel normal. Across his first United spell, he built the base of what would become his UCL empire. Double-digit goals in 2007/08, match winners in the biggest ties, and a growing habit of deciding nights that decide legacies. United's own archive and UEFA records map the arc from the first UCL goals versus Roma in 2007 to the Moscow header and the long ranges of 2009. Why this phase mattered. He learned the geometry of goals, when to arrive, not just where to dribble. He absorbed Ferguson's 8-second doctrine and became the end of United's fastest moves. He added aerial dominance to sprint speed and clean striking, turning crosses into penalties without the whistle. He proved he could carry Champions League moments, quarter-finals, semi-finals, finals, before he ever wore white in Madrid. Phase 2. The Real Madrid evolution. 2009 to 2018. If Manchester United was the place where Cristiano Ronaldo learned how to be great, Real Madrid was where he became immortal. When he joined Madrid in 2009, the world's most expensive player at the time, he wasn't arriving as a ready-made goal machine. At Old Trafford, he was still the flashy winger, about the stepovers, still trying to out-dribble opponents. But something changed in Spain. Madrid wasn't just looking for a showman. They needed a relentless finisher. And Ronaldo adapted. The position shift. The first big transformation was positional. Ronaldo stopped playing as the classic winger who hugged the touchline. Instead, he drifted inwards, becoming an inside forward. He no longer cared about humiliating fullbacks with fancy footwork. Instead, he studied movement. Where was the space? When could he time the run? How could he be one step ahead of the defenders? This change was revolutionary. He went from creator to killer. Every cross, every loose ball in the box, suddenly Ronaldo was there. Madrid didn't just sign a superstar, they unleashed a predator. 2010 to 2013. The rise of Madrid's weapon. By the early 2010s, Ronaldo had already turned himself into Real Madrid's ultimate weapon. He started stacking up Champions League goals, 10, 12, 14 in a single campaign. And this wasn't empty numbers. These were goals against the giants of Europe. He was always the man for the moment. And unlike his younger self, this wasn't just about physicality anymore. Yes, the speed and power were still there, but his game became more cerebral. He knew how to drift away from his marker, how to ghost into the box unmarked, how to anticipate the keeper's mistake. 2013-14, La Decima and the record breaker. Then came 2014, the season that defined him. For years, Real Madrid had been haunted by the number 9 Champions League trophies, but no 10th. La Decima became an obsession, and in that campaign, Ronaldo delivered one of the most jaw-dropping individual runs in football history. 17 goals in a single Champions League season. 17. That number still stands as a record. He scored braces, hat-tricks and decisive penalties every step of the way. He was there. And in the final against Atletico Madrid, when Madrid finally secured their long-awaited 10th European crown, Ronaldo added the exclamation point. A penalty in extra time to seal the win. Shirt off, muscles flexed, scream to the heavens. It was the image of a man announcing, "This is my competition." Big game mentality. One of the myths about Ronaldo is that he padded his stats in the group stages, but that's not the reality. What made him different was his big game mentality. In 2016, Real Madrid faced Wolfsburg in the quarter-finals. They lost the first leg 2-0. Everyone thought they were done. Then Ronaldo stepped up with a hat-trick in the return leg. Madrid threw. In 2017, against Juventus in the final, he scored twice, including a classic near-post strike that left Buffon helpless. Madrid lifted another trophy, and Ronaldo once again owned the biggest stage. Time and time again, when the moment came, he delivered. Semi-finals, finals, away legs, it didn't matter. He thrived under pressure. 2017, the century mark. By 2017, Ronaldo had become the first player in history to score 100 goals in the Champions League. Think about that. One man, triple digits, in the hardest competition in world football. It wasn't luck. It wasn't just natural ability. It was adaptation, reinvention, and an obsession with winning. Ronaldo turned himself from a skinny winger into a goal-scoring machine unlike anything football had ever seen. And it was in Madrid, between the Santiago Bernabeu lights and the roar of those Champions League nights, that Cristiano Ronaldo crowned himself the King of Europe. Phase 3. The Juventus and later years. 2018 to 2021. After conquering Europe with Real Madrid, Ronaldo made a shocking move in 2018, joining Juventus. Many thought this might slow down his Champions League dominance. After all, he was in his mid-30s, moving to a new league, a new system, and facing the challenge of carrying a different club on his back. But if history has taught us anything, it's this. Never bet against Cristiano Ronaldo in the Champions League. Still a UCL machine. Even in Italy, he delivered. Ronaldo scored 20-plus Champions League goals for Juventus, proving age was just a number. He might not have had the same explosive speed as in Madrid, but he evolved again, relying even more on his movement, anticipation, and ice-cold finishing. The Atletico Madrid Masterclass, 2019. Perhaps the defining moment of his Juventus era, Juventus lost the first leg of the round of 16 against Atletico, 2-0. Critics said it was over. But in the second leg in Turin, Ronaldo produced one of the most iconic hat-tricks in UCL history. A towering header. Another brilliant header. and finally a pressure penalty to complete the comeback. He literally single-handedly dragged Juventus into the next round. Consistency even in later years. Despite Juventus not always being as dominant in Europe as Real Madrid, Ronaldo was still among the top scorers in almost every Champions League campaign he played in. Even at 34, 35 and 36 years old, he was scoring goals that most strikers in their prime could only dream of. Beyond 100. By the time he finished his Juventus spell, Ronaldo wasn't just sitting at the 100-goal milestone. He had smashed through it, pushing his tally well beyond 130 goals. The 100th was historic, but everything after cemented his legendary status as the competition's greatest scorer. And that's what makes Phase 3 so important. It wasn't just about hitting the milestone. It was about proving that even past 30, even in a new league, even with doubters everywhere, Ronaldo was still the man for the Champions League. How he did it. The formula behind the 101. Obsession with training. Cristiano Ronaldo is famous for his obsession with perfection. While most players finish training and head home, Ronaldo was always the one who stayed behind, working on free kicks, sprints, and finishing drills. Teammates at Manchester United and Real Madrid have often said he was the first to arrive, last to leave. But it wasn't just training. His diet, sleep, and recovery were fine-tuned to maximize performance. He treated his body like a Formula One car, ensuring it was always ready to deliver on Champions League nights. This relentless drive meant that when others slowed down, Ronaldo stayed at the top of his game. 2. Adaptability. What makes Ronaldo different from almost everyone else is how he kept evolving. At Manchester United, he was a dazzling winger, with step-overs, long-range shots and pace. At Real Madrid, he reinvented himself into a penalty box predator, timing his runs to perfection and finishing chances with ruthless efficiency. Then, at Juventus, he became an aerial monster, mastering headers and positioning to dominate even at 35 years old. This constant reinvention meant defenders could never figure him out, because by the time they did, he had already become a different type of striker. 3. Heading ability. One of the most underrated aspects of Ronaldo's Champions League record is his heading. He scored over 25 goals with his head in the competition. His famous ability to hang in the air almost looked superhuman, as if time froze when he jumped. Defenders twice his size couldn't outjump him, and his timing was so precise that he turned crosses into deadly weapons. That adaptability, using his athleticism to create a new skill, gave him an edge that very few forwards in history have matched. 4. Clutch factor. Scoring is one thing, but scoring when it matters most is another. Ronaldo has more knockout stage goals than any other player in Champions League history. Think of the 2017 quarter-final against Bayern Munich, or the famous comeback against Atletico Madrid in 2019 with Juventus. Time and again, when his team needed him most, he stepped up. It wasn't just about numbers. It was about moments that defined entire campaigns. His reputation as Mr. Champions League comes from this very ability to rise under pressure. 5. Consistency. Perhaps the most unbelievable statistic is his consistency. Ronaldo scored 10 or more goals in 7 different Champions League seasons, a streak no other player has ever achieved. From 2011 to 2018, year after year, you could almost guarantee he would carry Real Madrid through the tournament. That level of production over a decade is what separates him from everyone else. Anyone can have one great season, but Ronaldo had 10. Legacy. Ronaldo wasn't just scoring goals, he was redefining what was possible in the Champions League. Before him, even reaching 50 goals felt legendary. He doubled that and made it look routine. His rivalry with Messi turned every Champions League night into a global spectacle. Fans weren't just watching the game, they were watching a duel between two icons, each pushing the other to greater heights. Ronaldo became the face of the Champions League. The anthem plays, the pressure builds, and millions already expect him to be the difference maker. Floodlights, knockout ties, 90-minute penalties. He thrived where others crumbled. The 100-goal milestone wasn't just a number. It was a symbol of unmatched consistency, longevity, and a mentality that refused to break. Even now, years later, when people talk about the Champions League, his name is the first that comes up.